Hello, it's James here from Brixx. Today I want to run through the Brixx timeline feature. So we do financial forecasting software, and a big part of forecasting the future is looking at when things happen, because the the impact of when something starts or finishes, or how long something lasts for, can have a very large effect on your cash flow, and on the future of your business. So it's important to be able to look at those activities, and their timings in a really flexible way. So that's what our timeline is designed to do. And I just want to run through that quickly, to show you what it's all about. So so right now I'm in a completely empty forecast for example's sake. I'm just in the standard template that Brixx plans can start with. So I've got some really basic activities that are common to many businesses. And if I click on the timeline, you can see every one of these activities, whether they're a marketing activity or they are an employee that we're hiring, has a timeline row associated with it. Now, when you first make your plan, the default for each of these rows is to start at the start of your forecast and continue all the way to the end of your forecast. And when you're just entering sort of standard, predictable costs like your rent, your phone bill, a lot of these office costs that many businesses will have, this is exactly what you want. And you don't even want to be looking at the timeline. You just want it to work from start to finish. You want to be able to have your rent repeating predictably, and it lasts for the entire duration of your forecast. Now, you're going to have activities that only happen for certain amounts of time. The more unpredictable costs or projects that you want to take on that only last for a certain amount of time. So a marketing venture that you're going to try out for a few months that might have several costs associated with it and drive new income for a certain period of time. So if we were doing this in a spreadsheet, you might go to the cells for those particular months and just type in the numbers you're estimating are going to occur in those time frames. So I've just entered these numbers for a few months here, and you can do that in Brixx, and that's fine. But we've designed the timeline to make it easier to make changes around this, because now if I've decided that the impact of this is actually not going to be in April, and I actually need to move it forward a few months, then I'm going to have to manually go in and start moving cells around, which could have an impact on other areas of my spreadsheet, and just carry a lot of additional admin work, and error checking that is just slowing me down. So I'm just going to zero this out, and I'll show you what you can do in Brixx to make this a lot easier. So let me just turn off my rent for the moment so that we're back to a blank dashboard. So if, for example, I'm looking at a way to grow my business in future, perhaps I'm going to try some kind of new marketing adventure for a few months in the future. And there's going to be some costs associated with this. Maybe I'm hiring an agency. Maybe there's some advertising costs associated with this. Maybe I'm doing some online marketing of some kind. This is just examples. It could be anything. And maybe there's going to be some additional sales. Perhaps there's some kind of discount for this particular marketing adventure that we're going on. So I'll just enter a product. Again, these are just example numbers for the sake of this timeline demo, so it doesn't really matter what they are. So let's just do some quick numbers to get the dashboard firing. There we go. So as you can see, what this has done, because I haven't changed any of the default settings, what it's just doing is it's taking the number that I've entered and repeating it every month for the rest of the plan. So now when I go to my timeline, this is where I can start playing with that. So the numbers are only going to repeat for the length of this row. Now I've got 4 items here in a group, and the grey bar is a container. So the items within this group can't go outside of this container, and the container will help you do some bulk editing of these dates. So I can actually just grab this anchor at the end, and you can see the tooltip is showing Jan 2019, and I can drag that into the plan so that it now doesn't start until July 2019, and as you can see, it's controlling all of the items inside the group. So it's a good way of moving everything at once, and I can do the same with the end date. So let's move that back here, and now we've got a 3-month period for this marketing adventure we're going on, and we're still repeating. We're still just repeating, but because we've now constrained the timeline rows, it's only going to be looking at these 3 months. So when I go back to the dashboard, we've gone from the entire plan to these 3 months here, which is great, because now we can look at the impact of changes to this plan, because as we know, this is not going to go as planned. Things like this never do. There'll be unexpected costs, there'll be unexpected time frames, so the project could last longer or shorter. So you can see how I can test that out, and you can see that I can also drag from the central bar. If I can move it backwards into the plan, it now adjusts these numbers here, so I can see the impact of the project starting a month later than expected, and the project going on for less time or more time than expected. So it's, as you can see, how quick it is for me to be making those changes, and in a really visual and tangible way that isn't just fiddling around with rows and cells on a spreadsheet. It's just a lot easier to test out these scenarios, and because these are all independent of each other, I can see what the impact of staggering these might be. So perhaps the costs start happening, but I don't receive any income until a month later. I can move these independently of each other, and now I can see how that might affect things. Now you can see my dashboard is updating, so because I don't have the noise of my entire business going on, I'm just looking at this particular activity, I can actually see how profitable this venture might be in my final cash, because I can see the total income that I'm bringing in and the total costs that it could end up being. And again, if I start extending these costs outward, you'll see that it's still repeating each month. So if I extend this by a month, it's going to add an additional month's worth of costs on automatically, and you can see that visually here. You can see the costs have increased and the profit of the project has decreased, and it's doing this all automatically. Now when you couple that in with some of the other features that Brixx has available to you, the options you have are really endless, because let me just show you what I mean. Because you can copy these items. So if I've just selected this, and if I press copy, I've now got an exact duplicate of this project that I'm doing. And let's say this one is going to be a bit more successful. If I go back to my dashboard now, I've got the results of both of these happening at the same time. But if I now turn this off, now I'm looking at two versions of the same project with slightly different parameters, and I can, if I had the rest of my business filled out, which is what Brixx is designed to do, you will have every aspect of your business, from the salaries you're paying to the normal marketing activity you're doing, your operating costs, and the normal sales you'll be making. So you'll have the complete picture of your business. At the same time, you're going to be looking at the ways you can grow your business, and now you can start playing around with scenarios. You can use, sorry, I didn't explain this when I was doing it, but these little circles next to every item will turn what you're looking at on or off in your dashboard. So if I can turn all of this off, and the dashboard goes back to being blank, and I can turn this one on, and you'll see just this one. So you can make as many different variations of these as you want, and you can turn them on and off, and you can see the impact on your plan. And this, I've just been looking at the dashboard, but you have a full set of reports as well that you can be judging these by. I'm sorry, I'm just looking at the first 12 months. If I set it to the entire plan, I'll see the 3 years that I'm forecasting. So you can see this move, and as I move it, the reports update as well. So you can see how it's moved to February in the following year there. Now, sorry, I was just in the first 12 months. There you go. So now we're seeing the entire impact. Now, if you had the numbers for the rest of your plan going, and let's just generate some example numbers so that we can see what that might look like. I'm just going to put in some really rough numbers. These aren't what you'd be doing in reality, but they'll serve their purpose here. And I'll just get some additional costs in as well. And these are all, you can see how quick it is to enter data in Brixx. We've got lots of automated tools for making this quick and easy for you. And so now just with a few extra numbers, you can see that with the noise of your entire business going on in the dashboard, we've sort of lost that project that we were looking at. Maybe it was here, yes, you can see here, that's where the marketing adventure is going on. But this is where we have other tools to help you out with. If you want to see what a new project would look like, and how that would impact your entire business while all your numbers are on at the same time, you can do that. And then you can also go back to looking at this in isolation. So if I use this drop down here, which is currently showing the entire plan, I can select marketing adventure from this list, and this list is showing an exact replica of my sections of the business on the left here. So if I press marketing adventure, now I'm back to just looking at what's in this section here. So I can quickly go from looking at my entire plan down to looking at the scenarios that I'm playing around with, and I can go back to turning these on and off, and seeing how that affects my final figures. And then I can go back to the entire plan and see how which one of these is the most the best path for my business, or if the costs turn out to be higher than expected, can my business afford that? Those are the questions you can be asking using these tools. So I got a bit carried away there with sort of scenarios you can do with Brixx. This video is mainly about the timeline, but you can see that it's very easy to adjust timeline activities in Brixx. It's a very tactile, intuitive, drag and drop interface to move any item, and you can use the calendar as well on the right hand side to select specific dates if you want, but it's pretty easy when you've got the tooltip as well to show where you're dropping the activities. So that's how the timeline works in Brixx. It's a really useful feature. We're quite proud of it. I think it's something that's quite unique to Brixx. And I hope you found this video useful. This is one of many I want to do, and to show some of the more unique things that Brixx can do. If you've got any questions about how the timeline works, then head to Brixx.com. We've got a really helpful team who would be happy to answer any questions you have, but you should just sign up and have a play with it, because it's really easy to get started with Brixx. And we've got more of these videos. We've got lots of guides on our help desk to get you up and running. So yeah, just have a go. And I hope you found this useful, and I'll see you in the next video.